Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Representative Clyde, you're opposing the legislative appropriation?
I'm opposing the legislative appropriation.
What are you? Are you here for an amendment, or?
Yes, an amendment. I'm
Okay.
here for amendment number 48 to HR 4505.
Okay. Did you support the American Rescue Act?
I don't know that that has anything to do with.
Well, it's just my
amendment.
question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
Well, let's just stick to the amendment.
Okay.
Mr.
Well, I guess
Raskin.
my question for you, Mr. Clyde, is: did you have an opportunity to see Officers Hodges and Fanone and Dunn testify today, or Sergeant Gunnell?
Mr. Raskin, let's stick to the amendment as the.
Well,
chairman
I'm getting
asked.
to the amendment. If you don't like the question, just say you can take the fifth, or you choose not to.
That's not the point.
Well, I don't need you correcting my question, sir. I'm asking, did you watch the testimony of the Capitol officers who defended our lives on January 6th, or did you not? It's a yes or no question.
It's irrelevant. It's
Okay.
absolutely irrelevant to this
Okay.
amendment right here, and I'd like to stick to it if you want
okay,
to.
then reclaiming my time, sir. Reclaiming my
Is that
time.
what you want to do, Mr. Chairman?
Excuse me, Mr. Clyde. I have the floor,
Excuse
not
me.
you.
Excuse me, everybody. First of all, the way this works, as you heard, either side can ask whatever they want to ask. You don't have to answer the question if you don't want to. I would urge everybody to kind of lower the decibel here. We're going down a road that we should, I wish we weren't, but we are.
I agree.
So, you know,
Well,
and so
Mr. Chairman,
yeah, Mr. Raskin.
our colleagues have taken us down the road of quotations, and we have somebody who's got a quote right in the room, so I thought I would check it with him.
appreciate it.
He refuses to say whether or not he heard the Capitol officers who risked their lives and have experienced traumatic medical injuries. He refuses to say whether or not he watched them today. That's fine. That's his prerogative, and under the First Amendment or the Fifth Amendment, whatever it is, he doesn't have to testify about it. But I want to ask you this. They were asked the question by several of our colleagues, including Ms. Cheney, about statements that you made saying that the January 6th violent insurrection against Congress was akin to a normal tourist visit. And those officers said they weren't tourists, they were terrorists. Do you stand by your statement that they were tourists?
I would like you to quote my exact statement, not your interpretation of my statement.
Okay. Watching the
record.
TV footage of those who entered the Capitol and walked through statuary halls showed people in an orderly fashion staying between the stanchions and ropes, taking videos and pictures. You know, if you didn't know the TV footage was a video from January 6th, you would actually think it was a normal tourist visit. Those are your words.
And I stand by that exact statement as I said it.
Okay, do you agree or disagree with the officers who spent 4 or 5 hours battling that medieval mob that had baseball bats and lead pipes and so on? Do you stand by the statement that the people that they were fighting were tourists, or would you agree with them that they were terrorists?
That statement did not say that those people were tourists. Okay, read the statement.
Okay,
and
but
understand
well, I'm
the
asking you
statement.
now. Well, you've got the
Okay?
opportunity to tell
All right.
America right now, Mr. Clyde.
Could we just lower our voices here? We don't, I'm sorry, I just,
Yeah, but you've got the opportunity to clarify for the whole country right now. For these officers, I urge you to watch it on TV. I urge you to watch it in your office. Officer Hodges, Officer Fanone, who experienced traumatic brain injury, who had a heart attack after he was tased by some of the tourists or terrorists. Officer Dunn, Officer Hodges. Do you think that what they experienced was an attack by tourists or terrorists or violent insurrectionists? You've got the opportunity to clarify for the whole country right now.
If you will read the first part
I'm
of my
not interested
statement.
in that. I'm asking
You're
you.
not interested in my statement, are you?
Mr. Chair,
You
point
are
of
not.
parliamentary inquiry.
Can you yield to me for
I have read your statement once. The whole country and lots of people online believed your statement that it was a normal tourist visit.
That is not my statement.
Okay, well-
as you said, as you
well,
quoted,
okay.
and then you just misquoted.
Clarify it
is
right
not-
now for America.
I just clarified it.
Okay,
for
I'm
you.
asking you. The people who attacked Officer
You're not
Hodges.
listening to my
Mr. Chair,
statement.
are there no rules?
Reclaim my time.
govern-
Excuse me.
I'm trying to
Excuse
get a
me.
Who has the floor, Mr.
parliamentary inquiry.
Chairman?
it's Mr. Raskin's time, but the stenographer cannot keep track of people talking over one another. So I would like everybody to kind of lower, yeah, those who need to leave can leave, you know. But I do think that I just,
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Raskin's time, and
Thank you.
let's not talk over each other. Yeah, Ms.
Again.
Mr. Chair,
I spent several hours today with millions of Americans watching sworn police officers testify about their battle to defend our lives, the members of the House and the senators. And they took issue, not with, let's put your statement aside because you used to think that you've been misinterpreted by people, but they're taking issue with an internet meme that the people here were just tourists. It was a normal day. And they were saying they weren't tourists, they were terrorists. How do you react to that?
Well, I'm not responsible for an internet meme, okay? We are here to discuss this amendment, Mr. Raskin.
Okay. So you don't want to answer the question. I appreciate
We are
that.
here
I wouldn't want to answer it if I said what
we
you
are
said.
here to discuss this amendment, and you are obviously not
Okay.
interested in that. You want to make this another January 6th hearing.
Reclaiming-
This is not. This is the Rules Committee.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Clyde. You voted no on giving congressional gold medals to the officers who defended our lives on that day, 140 of whom were wounded, injured, dozens of them in the hospital. People lost fingers, people had their eyes gouged, people experienced traumatic brain injuries, people are experiencing post-traumatic stress syndrome to this day. And you voted no on extending congressional gold medals to them. Why did you do that?
Again, that has nothing to do with this amendment. But you know what I will tell you?
Oh, I'll bring it back to the amendment, Mr. Clyde.
That I co-sponsored an amendment, a bill to give a gold medal, 3 gold medals, to the Capitol Police, all right, for all of what they've done. It was introduced by Representative Gohmert. So I'm sorry if you didn't understand that, or if you didn't maybe get that information.
Okay, I'll reclaim my time.
I am not going to vote to give
Mr. Clyde,
Speaker Pelosi
you were
a
one
gold
of
medal
21
because
members.
She is the one
Excuse
who is in charge of the Capitol Police and the Sergeant at Arms. She
I'm
is
sorry,
responsible.
Mr. Clyde, I'll reclaim my time. You were one of 21 members out of 435 who voted no. You voted not to award 4 congressional gold medals to the U.S. Capitol Police and those who protected the United States Capitol on January 6th. I'm just giving you the opportunity to tell us why you were one of the 21 members who voted against it.
I just told you, and you obviously didn't listen.
No, you told me about another bill that you said you sponsored that I never heard of, but why did you vote no on this bill, which was on the floor of the House?
The particular bill on the floor of the House, all right, was not appropriate. It was not that. The bill that was appropriate is the one that I co-sponsored.
Really, what made this inappropriate?
Because it awarded those gold medals to those Capitol Police for all of the times that they have defended this Capitol. Back in the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s, not just one incident. Because I think they deserve, because there were Capitol Police officers that died from gunshot wounds back earlier. Did you know that?
So you're saying this didn't go far enough? Is that your point? So you wanted to give the gold medal to these people, but you voted against it because you wanted to give it to them?
No.
Yeah, so
Okay,
yeah,
well, with that, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to say forgive me, colleagues, but I spent 4 hours today with the police officers who defended our lives on January 6th, and the level of rhetoric in this room about defunding the police and standing by the police does not stand up to what we heard this morning. And I don't accept it, and I find the rhetoric dangerous, describing anything that took place that day as analogous to tourism. And I would urge my colleague to please go back and listen to those Capitol officers and how they reacted to the idea that there was anything remotely analogous to a tourist visit in what they suffered on that day. I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.